different prep lists of produce prep injections, so keep this produce that needs to be isolated from everything else.
Hey guys, Mr. Knife Fanatic here. Today we have the Yoshihiro Youji 270 Tsujihiki. These knives are very beautiful, they're brand new to the website, and as of right now, Chef Knives To Go is the only vendor in America to offer them. So, as usual, here's the specs and cutting performance. We have Shirogami or Hitachi white number 2 steel core at 61-62 Rockwell. It's going to take a very, very fine edge, and it actually holds its edge slightly longer than white number 1, although it does not sharpen quite as fast. This is actually preferred in the prep world by a lot of people. We love this steel on our website. There's a Suminagashi finish, which I believe translates to marble. It actually has a very nice frosted look. Let's hold it with the left hand here upright. As you can see here, it has a very type of matte finish with these nice bright polished bits coming through. A little bit kind of like a surface of nice still water or something like that to me. You also have the ladder pattern Damascus coming down to the edge. And you can tell, this is sold as a Tsujihiki, but it is actually single bevel. You can see the back side is flat, actually slightly concave, like a traditional single bevel knife. So this is really more of a Yanagiba or Yanagi than a Tsujihiki. The blade length is 275 millimeters, slightly longer than advertised. Nothing wrong with that, especially when you're using a slicer this long. More blade generally costs more, so you're getting a little bit more blade. 42 millimeters in height. Definitely not a short knife for a slicer, but at this length it is definitely in proportion. You can see how that looks in my hand. The width, the thickness, I apologize, is 3 millimeters, but that is coming directly out of the tang. It does taper down a little bit. Generally, Yanagibas or single bevel knives are a lot thicker than this one is. So this one is not really that thick, and it actually is about 2 millimeters halfway through the blade here, and gets a very nice distal taper. If you can see, the distal taper is done excellent on this knife, and it gives it a very, very light feel towards the nose. There is no flexing to be had. You can, you're not really going to worry about flexing with a knife like this. This is going to be a very stiff knife. And although, as I said, it's not as thick as a normal Yanagiba or Yanagi, you're going to get a little bit better feel for this. You could maybe do a little bit more fillet type work with this knife if you'd like. 181 grams. It feels like a featherweight in the hand because at this length, 181 grams is nothing to throw around. So it's very, very nimble feeling. Balance point, of course, is going to be blade heavy, but I'll just show you where it's at for the sake of the video. In relation to the pinch grip, that's going to be right in front of your pinch grip, of course. If we pinch grip, here's where the weight is, and here's where your pinch is. So, okay. And the grind, as we said before, single bevel, right hand. Although this is an octagonal handle, this is made by Isaiah Schroeder, by the way, Buffalo Horn Ferrule in Yewood. This is good for left and right hand users, but unfortunately the grind is really made for a right hand user. I don't know if we're going to offer left hand versions of this yet. I have seen lefties use a righty knife before. Lefty-righty knife. Left hand users use a right handed knife before. Although you probably don't want to do it if you are a left handed user. So, I generally don't review slicer type knives. You know that. I usually do chef's knives. And here's a little bit of a pork loin to cut up and just test it out. This is the out-of-the-box edge. I haven't sharpened it in any way. Let's just play around and kind of see how she does. You can see we can slice off that fat membrane. A lot of people like to use petty knives or maybe Tsujihikis to do a little bit of, silver skin work here, if you can see. Able to get underneath that silver skin very nice with that nice nimble tip. I am definitely not a butcher by any means. Well, I'm a butcher, not a meat cutter butcher. I just butcher things. There's a difference. You know what I'm talking about. How do we do this here? Get the silver skin up like that. And I'm actually having a lot better luck with this knife today than my normal Tsujihiki that I use. The tip is ground so thin on this. If you can see, it just gets right in there. I was a little apprehensive about cutting meat on camera because I'm really no good at it, if you can't tell. But, I mean, there's really no meat left on any of this here. All nice clean silver skin. Well, hopefully gives you a little perspective. Some people like to cut with their finger on the back of these knives like that when you're doing sushi cuts, and you just do simple through like that. Nice clean cut. We'll cut a few steaks for you real quick. I know a lot of people see cut with single bevels towards their hand like this, so do that on the bias. Slides right through. Wow, that's actually really good. Maybe I should review some more slicers, huh? Very, very nice, huh? The out-of-the-box edge on here is actually quite good. I will say the majority of the new knives that we've been getting on the website, Chef Knives To Go, have been very sharp out of the box. Usually not going to be a problem. Oh, there we go. Nice paper thin slices. And we'll go ahead and cut a couple of thicker steaks for you real quick. I was pressing down a little bit there. You can see you can get through in one pull at a decent sized pork loin. Very nice. Now, one thing you may want to keep in check here is the fact that it is ground only on one side. The knife will steer a little bit to the left towards you, for you. This is going to help when you're slicing towards your hand like that on the bias, but when you're trying to make perfectly straight cuts, you are going to have to adjust slightly. You will get used to this within 5 minutes of using the knife. Really nothing to worry about. Just something to keep note of if you haven't really used a knife quite like this yet. So, but wow. Yes, she performs great. Can't really argue there at all, right? Just make our steaks here. I'm prepping to eat later, so might as well finish the prep before we finish the video. And I will say, a traditional Yanagiba, or a more common single ground knife slicer such as this, is not going to be as thin as I said before, and it's maybe not going to cut proteins quite as well as this. But as far as sushi prep goes, I really can't comment there because I am not touching sushi on video again. You saw how bad the last video was. But hey, this knife right here is awesome on proteins. I actually really think I need one in my lineup now. So, guys, I hope gave you some good perspective of the knife. It is very beautiful and she handles well. So please stay tuned and stay sharp.